Oh, this is an amazingly special time for anybody that loves Mahler because this is the 100th anniversary of his death.
The music of one of the greatest composers we ever had in our existence. It's a huge cycle, you know, it's 10 symphonies. So I think it's a privilege to be able to do it.
I love Mahler's music and I love playing it, and certainly it's the reason why you play in an orchestra, to be part of these glorious melodies. It actually goes through your whole body. The music is just, to be part of it, it's great to be in the audience, but to be in the middle of this wonderful music is fantastic.
I adore Mahler 9, you know, and for me, I don't mind if I don't play anything else. I could play it my whole life, but the Ninth Symphony, for me, is the most perfect symphony ever written.
I know a couple of times I've been playing and found I had tears in my eyes, and you just can't help yourself.
Beethoven wasn't self-centered, and I think Mozart wasn't, and some other people not so much, but Mahler was all about himself. Beethoven had a tragic life of being one of the greatest composers and being deaf. And from about the last, I don't know, 12, 13 years, he couldn't hear almost anything, and the last few years, nothing altogether. He couldn't hear his Ninth Symphony. He couldn't hear that great piece, can you imagine? And some late piano sonatas, late quartets, never heard them. And he never complained. And his music is never, oh, look how miserable I am. That I understand, and that we should learn from people like that. Mahler was different. Great musician, unbelievably gifted. But it's about, oh, how difficult my life is. No, all right. And it's great music.
Mahler, for a start, was really worried about writing a Ninth Symphony because he knew that Beethoven died after 9 symphonies, and composers after Beethoven all had a terrible superstition that if they wrote a Ninth Symphony it would be their last, and he was worried about this. So he was obsessed with death at the time, obsessed about the fact that he might die early. He'd been diagnosed with a heart condition. He was under a lot of stress in his marriage. His wife Alma was having an affair with Walter Gropius, who is an architect who she later married. He'd already lost one child, his elder daughter, and had all this tragedy infusing his life. And I think he had this desperation to finish these works, and you feel it in the pieces, those last pieces, somehow, that he doesn't want to die, he's clinging on.
All Mahler symphonies are long. The shortest one is number 1, is only one hour. They're all terribly intense, that's what it is. And the Ninth maybe even more so, if one could say that. But all his music is terribly intense. It's all about poor me, you know. Oh, how difficult it is to live, you know, how difficult it is to exist and do what one wants to do.
And Mahler was certainly influenced by many composers that came before him, from Bach to Wagner. But you know, he took what he learnt from them and made something so incredibly unique and special, and he took the symphony, in a way he took it to breaking point, and nobody's been able to follow what Mahler did in terms of writing symphonic music. Well, these recordings are live recordings, so they're recordings of our concerts, and we might do 2 or 3 performances of each symphony. They combine the 2 recordings, and then we'll patch. In other words, we do a short session to patch things that went wrong, and it's usually audience noise or someone's hearing aid going off, occasional little accidents in the orchestra, but they're essentially live recordings.
For the recording, noise is not so nice for the production. So I'm listening intonation and ensemble and noises.
He's highly intelligent and very musical. He has absolute pitch, that you play a note on a any instrument, he will know whether it's flat or sharp or anything. Fantastic, very good ears. And he's very musical and very knowledgeable. So with these qualities, to be a producer of a record is just right. Can't be better than that.
I was studying piano when I was a college student. So my major was the piano. So I respect Mr. Ashkenazy very much. I wrote a letter when I was age 16 or something like that. Then he was in Tokyo with the other orchestra, of course. And he wrote a letter, and he said, yes, you are welcome to listen to rehearsal. Then I went to his rehearsal, and our relationship getting better and better and better. And now, how wonderful. I can produce his CD after 20 years ago.
Masato is our Japanese son.
He says me, Masato is my Japanese son. It's a really wonderful word for me. But of course, I'm calling him Mr. Ashkenazy, or my European father, like that. Once he's in the stage, for me he's still a great musician and almost like God.
I'm just grateful that I could do it. That's all I could say. And I hope that our recordings are worth listening to. I think we did quite a good job to many of them. And we do our best, so it's a privilege to do it.